It's going.
I started recording.
Yeah.
You just need to change the thing on the bottom because I didn't have a chance to change it. The SoCal recap, change it to whatever.
Oh, I can change it right here. I think. Yeah, I can do it live.
Yeah.
Use it through OBS.
Yeah. Oh, look at that OBS. Good for you.
Clickety clack, clickety clack.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't use this one when I'm on the show. I use the other keyboard.
I feel like for just painting my hair in that it's gonna fall. It's gonna snap off its freaking stem. It's just like literally the brush strokes are making it shake wildly. It's like, oh no, that's not good.
Okay, it's
That's not good
updated.
at all.
All right.
Stupid
Updated. Twitch says we're live on my other computer.
Yeah, it's
Intended
live.
for adult audiences.
Sure.
Got it. Understood. I am indeed intended for adult audiences. Especially when we're going to TFG Radio ASMR hour.
Oh yeah.
God.
This should be
It looks pretty-
ASMR for us.
In terms of subject matter, it's pretty straightforward. There's not much in terms of like on a large scale. It depends how deep we want to go on certain subjects and if we want to talk about certain subjects.
I can't possibly function without show notes, so I don't know what you're even talking about.
Oh, right.
John is a very literal-minded person and does not react well without rigid structure.
I don't
That's the
know.
German in him.
I don't know where I'm supposed to interrupt without show notes.
Yeah. Hey, anyway.
It's funny because I write the show notes, but I'm the total opposite where in terms of interacting with or without structure.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why I liked my old job.
I just want to know when I'm supposed to interrupt you before I'm supposed to do
We'll
it.
just quickly gloss over the first 3 bullet points.
What? I don't even know what they are. How can I quickly gloss over something that I'm unaware of?
Exactly.
Good
So
question.
now that I know you want to quickly gloss over the first 3,
No, that's going to be all
I'm
we
going to
talk
drag
about.
this sucker out.
Oh, the
Details.
third one will be the one we'll talk about the most, probably.
Which one?
The third one. The third bullet point.
I'm not going to talk at all about it now.
Good.
I know what I'm
Yeah,
about.
you will.
What do you mean good? Screw you, Adam. This is why I want show notes. I need to know. I need a plan strategically.
Need a plan. Strategery. Those are a lot of logos on the...
Yeah. I got everything on there.
a lot of shit going on.
I got a lot on there.
It makes me tired looking at all of it.
Yeah, we're busy people.
Even when I try not to be.
Some of us more so than others.
Yeah.
Noting the absence of a certain somebody.
Wow.
I'm going to say that. At least say that on the main recording of the show.
It'll be mentioned.
I'm sure.
Oh, sure. Do you want me to go ahead and start? Since-
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we're late.
Yeah. All right, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. Your host, Adam, as you can hear and see. Today we have Danny.
Hey.
And on the Wheels of Steel, as always, John.
You got to stop saying that because everybody thinks I'm in a wheelchair.
That's fine. You can call you Ironsides. And then
Yeah.
people can go look up who that is.
I'd be cool with old Ironsides. It's fine.
It's the TV show, not the...
No, the USS Constitution.
No, you'd be Perry.
This is not acceptable on a couple of levels. I'm not a fan
For those
of this
that don't
at all.
know, it was an old... was it a detective show? He was a lawyer in a wheelchair.
What, Perry Mason?
Nobody
Yeah,
here is
Perry
old enough to
Mason.
know what you're talking about, except for you.
Perry Mason was a
now.
lawyer show, I thought.
Yeah, well, no, but he was called Old Ironsides. It was another
Right.
show. He was called Old Ironsides, and he was in a wheelchair, and that's why they called him that.
You may as well be talking about Flipper.
We are going with
What's
that.
wrong with Flipper?
Nobody knows what the hell it is.
Plenty of people know what Flipper is.
I made that reference specifically because there's a certain generation that listens to the show that will not know what I just said.
Yeah, that reminds
Thank you,
me of
Airborne. It's Raymond Burr.
Thank you.
Michael.
He was
Ironside?
in the He was in the American version of the original 1954 Godzilla.
Yes, he was.
What are things I would not know about because I don't care about those movies? Exactly.
Right.
And thank you, Undiscovered Lands, who's thinking of Michael Ironsides, but that's too cool of a person for John.
Who the hell is Michael Ironsides?
You know him.
You don't know who Michael Ironsides is?
No.
Oh my God.
He knows if he saw him.
He saw him in
Anyway,
person.
speaking
Now
of
I have to
aging
Google in the
ourselves,
middle of our show.
That's fine.
I was, I'm at the
Michael
point of my semester.
Ironsides.
Ah, Jesus, fuck you.
Canadian actor? Why would I know a Canuck? Oh,
Really
yeah.
fine Canadian actors.
man.
See, I told you. I freaking
from
told you.
Starship Troopers.
Yes, I freaking told
Yes.
you. You would know exactly who he
I
is.
do. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Anyway, kids today don't know what AOL was. It really depressed me.
No. There's a lot of kids today don't know anything.
But these are like 18 to 20-year-olds, and they don't know what AOL is.
Airborne thought I was sea lining you guys. I was not actually. I knew him when I saw him. I just didn't know the name. Yeah.
You know what to do, Rico.
Yeah.
You apes want to live forever.
Everyone fights, nobody quits.
And
What is it
joining
if
us
you-
late.
If you don't fight, I'll kill you myself or something like that, right? That's the line?
Yeah.
Come on, you guys want to live forever? Oh, and I think Rico
Joining
says
us
that one. Or does that guy say it too?
He says it because
think
all
he
the
says it
lines
and then
Rico
Rico
says
copies it,
is
right?
what
Yes.
he has said before.
Yeah.
Because Rico literally functions at that movie of someone tell me what to do.
Yes. Hey, man, he's a grunt. He tested into that, okay? Leave the guy alone.
Mobile infantry is what made me the man I am today.
Says the quad amputee.
I think it was actually Try.
I think it was
had
too. I think he
one.
had one arm, right?
Yeah.
He had one good arm. Can we hear Tom, or is he just there on camera?
I don't know. Tom's here for
Oh,
those
okay, there he
just
is. We
wasn't
can kind of
speaking
hear him.
for
that
one.
seem to care.
There we go. Okay.
Tom
there was
decided
much-
to grace us with his presence.
You shut your mouth.
So
Who is
full
Tom?
crew on
Tom's the guy
board.
in the bottom right-hand corner with the sprue.
In the
bottom
dark.
right-hand corner?
That's the Jeopardy answer.
Yeah, you're bottom right-hand corner. Well, for me, you are,
Oh.
and for the people at
For
home,
me,
Yeah,
you are.
bottom right to me too.
do you are you, so? Are you guys the top left in yours? Your personal ones?
Yeah. I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's how it works.
Yes.
I'm just waiting for
So
somebody.
so it's confirmed. Tom is a bottom.
Well,
Wow.
we
To
all
that
do
end. To that end, and sorry, grade school called and they want the joke back, but
That was middle school, be fair.
fair enough.
No, it's high school at the very least.
Yeah, I
Middle school
gotta
wouldn't know
say
it.
that
My
number will
hit-
fly over a couple people's heads in my classrooms.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I'm waiting for someone to take a snapshot of this and then create one of those leanings charts, like this
Oh, yeah.
person this person this.
Does not know what crypto is, does not invest in crypto.
I'm in the upper left, so that probably, like for most listeners, they probably think that would work. But it would be funny because the four of us know that's not where it would go.
No, you don't. You generally don't want to be in the top left or bottom right.
So you don't want to be the two white guys in the show. What you're saying?
generally. Well, I mean,
Well,
not in today's culture.
Wow. Okay, so we're
I
moving
think that's
along.
just generally true for this show. Period. Right? Nobody wants to be the two of us.
you're
I'm
the
too
famous
salty,
one,
and you're never
John.
fucking here.
Wow.
These cash
J.R.
flows from
Quinn,
those.
Tom has no light, so 3 dudes and a shadow.
Yeah,
No.
that's funny. That's a good one.
No, Tom is literally white enough that just the monitor glow like makes him look just kind of blue.
Yeah, it's true.
Hang on. Let me find a website with a white background.
Hey, look, there he is.
There he is.
What'd you do? Like turn on your monitor?
No, I
We put on the brightness settings.
I just went to google.com and it's now a white background.
Right.
Because I know
Again, I don't tell jokes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't tell.
That's funny. All right.
I speak truth.
Do we have see? See, this is what happens when you don't send anybody the show notes. None of us know what's
I
going
did
on.
send everybody the
And
show
we
notes.
probably
Nobody just
already
contacted me.
lost like half of our people who listen to the show because you didn't
That's
send
okay.
anybody show notes.
To be
I
fair to
did,
John on
but
this
you
one-
guys just don't pay attention.
No,
So
see,
with
here's the thing.
Tom,
Oh, there
here,
they are.
It's a good
Yeah.
time to mention the haiku for this year.
No.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So this year, as I mentioned last episode, is the haiku time of the year,
Yes.
the most wonderful
Yes.
time of the year. This year's theme is Tom, since we had the year of Tom that wasn't really a year of Tom.
It was the year of Where the Fuck is Tom?
Yeah.
Zeb just asked if the dude in the upper left-hand corner designs women clothes because he sees a mannequin in the background. Because this is the first time Natalie's mannequin's been back there because we have all of our Christmas stuff in the room because we're decorating slowly for Christmas, so it's like a mess. So her mannequin's in the back corner. It's great. No, I don't design women clothes. Nobody will want to wear anything that I designed for clothing. Period.
I'm with Airborne on that, quote unquote, Natalie's mannequin.
Whatever. You guys can think whatever you want. That's funny as hell.
So the haiku, for those that don't know, is this year the theme is Tom, and it can be whatever it is about Tom. Where's Tom been? How many times Tom's been on the show? Which I believe today marks
Tom San Diego.
Yeah, basically. Mm-hmm. So be sure to send those haikus to TFG Radio Podcast at gmail.com. And we'll choose the best one out of the bunch, and they'll get a prize. The prizes are gift certificates to the GameologyGames.com website,
which ships anywhere you want.
Which will ship anywhere in the continental United States that I know of. I don't know. I'm not going to say whether they'll ship to, but if you're not from the U.S., I'll actually ship it. It's fine.
Yeah, we got you, fam.
So,
or at least Adam
so going
does.
from there.
I don't.
I'm sure Tom's excited about that. Let's jump into.
He's a middle child. He's used to ribbing.
Yeah.
Hey,
this is the only form of love he knows.
Yeah, it's true. Any attention is good attention, right?
Exactly.
And the love of his God.
I know that doesn't exist.
Cool. I got him on tape saying it.
Hey, the love.
Oh, God.
Oh, nice. That's a sound
40K's only Catholic podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Technically, yes.
Hey, I'm allowed to have a dark night of the soul. Come on.
Kara Quinn says this is why Tom doesn't show up.
Yeah,
it's true.
But you see, he's at the store every Tuesday night with us. He's just not in the shows.
Yeah, because you guys don't have an audience to slaughter me in front of.
Depends who's there, but
that's true. And who I'm playing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did just finish our league recently. Only John played in the league. None of us did. And because of that, John came in first place in his league.
What pod were you in, John?
I was in pod 1 somehow. I
what
believe that was a clerical
play?
error, considering I only won one game last season.
It's sort of like the only one left behind.
I was trying to go back down to pod 2 where I belong. But somebody made me stay in pod 1, so I just figured I had to beat everybody and win.
It was multiple somebodies. And by somebodies, I mean people dropping from the league for that.
Yeah, including
season.
you, Adam.
And me.
And Danny, you were supposed to be ahead of me, too.
Yeah, there was like 4 of us. Mm-hmm. Not 4 of us, but 4 people dropped from the pod.
Actually, the only person I didn't beat was the one person responsible for me being in pod 1. Because he runs the league.
Keeping you there.
Awesome.
So John ended up first place by the skin of his teeth.
With Imperial Knights.
All his games post FAQ.
Magara's go burr.
I don't believe
2 of the games, I think.
Only 2 of the games are post FAQ. 3.
Yeah.
No, 2.
Oh, 3.
I didn't have them in my game with you, Adam.
Yeah, you did.
No. That was pre. My game with Darian and my ringer game with Danny were post FAQ.
No, mine was post because we did it. We played after the FAQ.
Are you sure? Okay, so then 3.
Yes, trust me. The score would have been different if I was able to score objectives from you.
Yeah, that's right. It was. It didn't. It was not a factor in my game with Darian.
Okay.
It wasn't really a factor.
It wasn't really a factor in my game with Danny. Danny's game was just, hey, I brought this Hierodule, which is like basically going to kill your knights if you can't kill it first. And I almost didn't kill it first.
It got first blood, and then, man, when it survived the double charge, and I was like, oh, well, it's funny, I'm going to knock you out of first place.
Not only did you survive the double charge, you then on your return swings killed the second Megara after you'd picked up the first one with shooting, and then almost killed the Preceptor, only survived with 2 wounds.
And then proceeded to murder my poor baby Hierophant, and then my poor baby Carnifexes died horribly to Moraxes.
Well, luckily the Preceptor survived, and I could keep the Moraxes around for those sweet rerolls.
Yep. And that whole annoying, like, and every time like he would walk away and it's like, oh, well, I gain a wound. It's like now it's going further and further away that I could actually theoretically kill this thing.
Instead of 2 wounds, I ended the game with 6? No, 5.
4.
4. Okay.
No, 5, you're right.
Because on the very last turn I got the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's some BS, but whatever. I'm happy to win.
If you won, how come I don't see a crown?
Oh, I forgot the crown.
Oh.
I was waiting for the crown.
I forgot to put the crown. That's okay. There's a meme in here with the knight with the crown, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I included.
And you took what list did you normally take, John?
I actually played the same list the entire season this time because my very first game was against Jeff, the one I lost, and that was my one of my test games for SoCal Open. And so the list was the same one I ran at SoCal Open. Okay. Preceptor, double Megaras, 3 Lightning Lock Moraxes, 1 Helverin, and they were all the Freeblade Lance Army of Renown.
Okay.
So the army only got better when the little knights got OBSEC.
Yeah. Right.
Because the big knights in my list already were OBSEC because of the special Freeblade quality.
Right.
So their only bonus was they just count as 10 models.
No, I think they already had that from that quality too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's really just
quality was made redundant, basically.
Yeah, I think they came up with the Army of Renown, and they were like, "Hey, that's pretty good to have that quality. Let's just give them that quality minus the OBSEC, but give the OBSEC to the little dudes." Which I'm fine by that.
Yeah, that definitely is not
K.R.
bad.
Quinn, of course, there's a Machiavellian meme. I'm a history teacher.
And a bastard.
I mean, wow.
I guess the test came in.
Apparently, goddamn. She could have told me off the air. Wait till I'm on the air.
That's funnier that way. For posterity.
Given what happens to me, I don't understand why you're complaining.
I'm not complaining. I got a smile on my face.
No, I mean, to be fair, we have a whole running bit about where John is historically reenacting. So
that's true.
Oh, there's that.
I think he's still going to the convention at the end of the month.
I mean, so close to the holidays.
Thanks for reminding Adam, Danny.
We hadn't done it in a while. Need to come back. All right.
We don't. We can let that bit die.
We can circle back on that.
I'm gonna circle back to you per my last email.
Anyway, so yeah, yay, John.
Yeah.
So yay, John. John, you playing the next league? So I think all of us joined the next league.
Yeah, it's got 8 weeks to play all your games. That's easy. 8 weeks, 5 games.
Play 5 games.
With the holidays, especially, I actually get a couple weeks off for winter before I start winter intersession. So I will actually have a somewhat flexible schedule for at least a couple weeks. So
I actually haven't signed up, but I was thinking of doing it, and because you said it, I'm now going to do it. So that way I look better.
Nice.
And you're still relevant.
I am. I mean, Tom's still there every Tuesday, but I understand the not wanting to have to organize a game with somebody else specific instead of just being able to be like, all right, who's gonna be at the store Tuesday? I'm gonna play. Having to be like this person. I had to play 2 ringers because there were 2 people I could not get to play their games with me. So, that just
maybe they just don't want to play you.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible
they don't want to take that heat.
So. Yeah.
Maybe they don't want you at their store.
That's possible also.
Yeah. So, John, you still going to play your Knights in the next league?
Probably,
try to continue, yes. Keep that crown?
Yeah, I think I'll play Knights.
Because you're staying in Pod 1. The rest of us, I don't know, with so many people coming back from the names I've seen, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I don't know if I expect to be in Pod 1. I'll probably be in Pod 2.
I mean, I have to stay, right? I can't move down because I'm
you're in the top
pod.
one. Yes.
Jeff.
I think I go to Pod 2.
Why must Jeff do these things to me?
Well, stop winning, and then you won't have to worry about
it. I tried last time.
It's true. That didn't work last time.
I literally only won 1 game. I tried my best.
I tried my best with my Megara.
I should go down to Pod 3.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm most likely Pod 2. Because I was supposed to go down last pod before I dropped. So, I'll be probably sticking with the 1,000 Suns for now.
Oh, really?
Because I'm not interested in Gene Stealer Cult or Custodes.
Well, who knows when they'll
You
be
gonna run
out? If they'll
those
be even
30
have
occult
time for the
Terminators?
pod, right?
I think I'm sticking with the
20's
20 Terminators.
20
I think
20
that's
gave him
the
a lot of
sweet
room
spot.
for other stuff.
pansy.
Yeah.
20.
I just asked Danny how 20 Terminators are.
Man up.
It didn't go well, no. I know, sir. I did not like that at all. You know, it's really funny
No,
since
sir, don't like it.
since the Octarius book for Tyranids came out and got all those sweet new rules. I haven't won a single game with my bugs. When I think at least you guys, I was undefeated with my bugs before.
Manny
You beat the
Chino would
Knights
disagree
once.
with you.
I know you beat the Knights at least once.
But that was pre
Not with the new book.
Yeah, not with the new stuff.
Is it just because you're so used to playing with bad army rules that you can
No.
only fight?
No, I mean a lot of it is I'm testing, so I'm not using builds I know are like this is good, right? Like I know like this is probably the best I'm gonna do. So I've been just doing a lot of testing and things I usually don't play with. And then the other part too is like, you know, just to be real, like you guys aren't, you know, Knights are better and John's a better player, so it's harder to beat him, right? Like Adam is playing an actually relatively good army instead of random chaos crap, so it's harder to beat him, right? Like, you know,
Hey.
Fair.
Not mine, but it still hurts.
I think the Thousand Suns list that you've come up with the 20 or 30 Terminators is actually pretty good. Like I liked the Rubric Marine spam, but it had its limitations for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like it looked, that was a list that looked really good on paper, but when it ran up against a couple of builds, you were like, huh. So why don't you talk about that since that's your Old Town Showdown?
yeah, you got to
Yeah,
go to a
so-
Go ahead
GT.
and run
I
over your
got, I
list.
actually,
Wait, but
I actually got to play in a GT rather than one run. But the whole weekend, I was being asked questions. Well, even the week running up to it, I was getting asked questions and stuff. And so the whole weekend, I was using the phrase, I'm not even supposed to be here.
I
whole
actually answered a
weekend.
judge question when I showed up with my kids to take some pictures of video.
geez.
Derek's looking for a judge, and Derek goes, "Oh, you're not playing in this. You're a judge." I go, "Yeah," and he immediately launches into the question without me getting to go. But I'm not a judge for this.
And then
The
you
question
answered
was easy
anyway.
enough. It was fine. I answered it.
It wasn't that bad, actually, over the weekend. So
how many sides to a die?
Well, there's supposed to be 6. Yours apparently have 10. So Derek, you're playing the game wrong.
He keeps rolling d4s. I don't understand.
So I played in the GT. My list was very simple. It was, for someone asking, it was 4 units of 10 rubrics, all with the Soul Reaper cannon. All of them had Temporal Surge, which is basically warp time. 1 unit of 10 flamers with Pyrrhic Flux. 1 exalted sorcerer and 1 exalted sorcerer on disc with whatever powers, but one of them had basically the dark matter crystal. One of them did have the Warp Weaver mantle, and for those that don't know, because most Thousand Sun players don't take it, what it does 2 things. It gives me a +1 to cast whenever he's injured, but I don't care about that. More importantly, if you declare a charge against him and you roll a natural 9 or better, the charge
thing.
automatically fails.
Fuck that thing.
Yeah, that thing's
and
that is bullshit.
It's the best thing ever.
My fucking
It is a
Landstrider
glorious
Knight with
roll.
+2 to charge. I'm like, oh my god, don't roll average. Don't roll average. Don't roll average.
Well, luckily for you, it's the unmodified roll of a 9 or better.
Oh, that's right. But still,
So if
I
you,
don't-
yeah,
I
so
still
like
don't want to roll 9. Stupid.
like I played when I played Danny on Tuesday, he rolled. What'd you roll? Like a 9 and then like a 10
Yeah.
on the
I rerolled a
reroll.
9 into an 11.
Yeah,
Oof.
It's just like, well, never mind.
That's a,
He was
I'm
like
not
only
killing
like
that
4.
guy. Yeah.
He's only like 4 or 5 inches away.
Loose size large.
And then I had one squad of 10 Scarab Occult Terminators with 2 Hellfire missiles and 2 of the Soul Reaper cannons, and that was basically the army. And they had Glamour Zinch, which is the -1 to hit. So, and it was only 5 rounds. We did play player optimized placement. And we did modify the terrain rules so all the ruins had dents, which means everything was -1 to hit. We may change it a little for the next one, where certain sized ruins are dense.
everything dense,
That's,
light, and heavy. Fuck it. Let's do this.
And we'll see about getting some of that new frontline terrain, pre-painted stuff.
Ain't nobody gonna die this game. Nobody.
So my first game was against
terrain. You just build it, right? It's already
It's
already fully colored.
Yes, and some of the windows actually have stained glass on them.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's pretty cool. That's very cool. As somebody who hates painting terrain,
yep,
I see this as an
especially
win.
MDF.
Well,
so my first game was against Benjamin Briggs, and he was playing. I think he came in 3rd or 4th. No. He was top 5 for the day.
Stop trying to make your losses sound more legitimate. Just own the fact you suck.
Well, I mean, I did score more than Derek, where Derek got a pity 2 points. So,
damn.
But Derek also went 5-1, so or 4-1.
Nice. Okay.
And we'll just say, like, Derek just catching strays out here for some reason.
I know. We're super down on him. He's going to be in the team Discord tomorrow. Like, what the fuck, guys?
Still no waterfall on his display. Still working on that. And Ben had AdMech. So he was playing AdMech, not the super because we're okay. So first off, we were still playing old rules. We did not use the balanced data slate because it didn't show up until after the rules cut off. So the TO decided not to use it, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah, there was a bunch of events that weekend that did the same thing.
It's fine only because we fucked over orcs at Hammer Wrath, and I felt like it was okay because we didn't want to fuck them over
twice
at the other tournament at the store.
I mean, I'm all in favor of screwing people over, so whatever. But it wasn't my call.
But for that game, it was the diagonal one. Oh, priority objective. That's what it was on. So we played that one. The issue I had, I was able to kill a few units. I got to use stratagems I never got to use before. Like there's one that doubles the number of shots for the Soul Reaper cannon if there's more than 11 models, and so I wiped out basically one of his units of 20. I did go second, which will be a theme over the weekend, and so he was able to push up and kind of pin me back. I was playing Cult of Duplicity because I switched from time because I was trying Cult of Time. I didn't really like it because I'm used to Cult of Duplicity because it helps me
move.
Move, yeah, basically get where I want to go. But in the end, it just came down to like AdMech shooting, and his ignoring -2 was still pretty
Imagine
good.
That. AdMech came down to shooting.
Mild shock.
I still had a few units left, so the durability's there. It's just the overwhelming number of shots and the saves I have to make. But I believe I lost. I don't remember this. I know I got like 56 points or something like that. So I lost that game, and then round 2 was against Grey Knights, but only 3 Dread Knights, only 3.
Polite.
And that was the other diagonal mission, which I forget what it is right now. It's the one where you investigate signal as the secondary. What's the mission secondary? So I played that one. He went first again through all his Dread Knights up. On my turn, I forgot. In my list, there's also a Dreadclaw, which I put a unit in. So
yeah, I like that actually.
So
I like that the Dreadclaw charges things too.
Yeah, which surprises a lot of people, especially if they haven't played against a Dreadclaw before.
Like Edwin walking over to the table. Wait, his drop pod moves. Yes, and it just assaulted my knight. It can assault people too. Yes.
If he plays 30K, he can take one.
Yeah, right.
I'm not introducing my son to 30K. You stop that right now.
Oh, I know.
Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
He already knows about Flames of War. We are not introducing him to 30K.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah, because he's going to play. He's going to play bolt action. That's why.
Oh my
we already
God.
discussed that. So basically, he pushed up with the Dread Knights, and again, for most armies, especially armies like Grey Knights or even AdMech and Knights, once they push me and kind of like pin me in a corner or pin me in my deployment zone, so to speak, it's sometimes hard for me to dislodge them, especially things like the Dread Knight, because I couldn't even kill the Dread Knight because of the way it was positioned and the way the terrain was placed. It was hard for me to angle good shots or good assaults. So he ended up basically taking control of that game and kind of dictating where I could move because of the way he had combat squatted his guys and things like that. So that one was tough for me, and I ended up losing that game. Honestly, I was feeling down on that army. I'm like, how are these guys supposed to win?
Right.
As we were talking beforehand. Hold on one second. But so that game I lost 97-55. First game I lost 87-69. So they weren't like
those are blowouts.
No, like the Army's resilient. That's for no doubt. I still had guys on the table, things like that. And for me, it was more the mobility, especially when they go first, because they can zone out. And even when they zone out, I can usually like kill something to get some breathing room. But in those games, it just didn't really happen for whatever reason.
Just so we're clear, in our game, you didn't have a lot of dudes left on the table.
Yeah, but I still had dudes. I wasn't
10 Terminators that I ran away from.
Yeah. But even in that one, I couldn't kill your knight. The one knight,
you couldn't.
I probably could have if I was able to, because I couldn't get the charge off with the Dreadclaw because the space was too limiting because of the way the terrain was.
Yeah.
But if I was able to get the Dreadclaw in, I think I would have been. I would have been able to kill
that player optimized terrain, man.
No, that was John. No, our game was John plays terrain.
I know it was player optimized.
It was John optimized.
Players.
It was John optimized terrain. So going into round 3, I didn't have high hopes, to be honest. But
that's always the best, right? I'm gonna
I was having flashbacks to the last SoCal Open I actually played in, where on day 2 I went 0-3.
Was that 1996?
It was only 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
Hey, man, there was a pandemic in between. That's a good decade.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like 2 years ago. No, yeah. I don't even know now. I can't remember.
Time is a construct.
Yes. So my last game was against Eldar and Harlequin game, and that was Scouring, which didn't matter for me because I have a small army. My army only has 9 units, and if I put everybody in the Dreadclaw and into Deep Strike, I only have 6 units to place on the board.
That's less than
and
me.
he had the Eldar artillery, but he had the missile launcher, so he's out of LOS, and they only do 1 damage. I believe it's no AP.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that army came. He wasn't as aggressive
Wouldn't the
as
vibro
I thought he
cannons be
should.
better?
But the vibro cannons need line of sight.
Right.
That would be the issue with the vibro cannons.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Didn't they not need line of sight in 6th edition or something?
No, they needed.
No, they've always needed line of sight.
No, they've always needed line of sight because 6th edition used to have to draw a line, and whatever across that line got hit.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. That's right. You could draw a line.
Yeah,
that was always funny.
Yeah, so I don't think he was. I went second again on that one. So I went second on the third time. And I don't think he was
an army that's good going second.
And I think I don't think he was as aggressive, and he kind of split his Harlequin troops between the left and right flanks, and then he would push up and kind of hide. I thought he should have either committed totally or just totally hit in the back, because this is the one where you have to hold 2 in Scouring. It's kind of hard because there's only 5 objectives, but 2 of them are kind of closer to deployment zone, so you can hold 2. What ended up happening was he kept on shooting at my guys, and I kept on making my saves, and everything except for his fusion pistols, everything else was like damage 1.
So you get all his dust.
Yeah, and then his Dark Reapers did okay, but there was like the first turn or 2 I just spent the 3 CP just to -1 their damage so I can get all his dust.
Right.
And that kind of kept them alive. He did fail 1, 2. He failed 2 out of 3 charges, on the guy that had the Warp Weaver mantle. So, but he still survived, and he, it was pretty bad for him because I just kept on making all my saves. And my Terminator showed up and just kind of walked up the board, shooting one thing, smiting another. He did have the Flamer squad killed like 2 or 3 squads. It was all good for me.
And it was at this moment Adam came up with his 30 Terminator squad list idea. I'm just gonna take 30 of these dudes.
The problem is that's still too many. That's like 1,200 points, something like that.
Hey man,
almost 1,300 points.
You can do it.
Yeah, if I had transhuman, I would.
Gotta believe in yourself and try hard.
I am not a tryhard. I forgot to mention in my Grey Knight game, I did take Furia Magnus, which I actually did get all the turns against the Grey Knight. So,
I mean, that's not surprising, right?
Well,
isn't that like custom built for that situation?
Well, I mean, Danny was able to stop me on one turn by killing 10 guys, a squad of 10.
Yeah, but I feel like a Tyranid list is actually that Hive Guard list. That was the Hive Guard Zone Thrope list, right?
It was 15 Zone Thropes, only 1 unit of Hive Guard.
Oh, I thought it was double Hive Guard.
No,
I still feel like it's generally just killier than the Grey Knight list. Or did Danny
in terms of psychic? In psychic, probably. Right. Psychic it is because Grey Knights don't have as many offensive psychic powers as.
They don't have a way to boost the damage you're doing with smite.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then in the game with the Eldar player, I took it because he had 2 Farseers, and they aren't going to smite anybody, and I was stopping all his powers, and or he wasn't getting them off. And then the Flamer squad killed one of the Farseers and assaulted and killed the other one, just because of the way he had positioned them. And at the end of the game, it was 84 to 46. I was able to win that game. So end day 1 and 2, hoping that day 2 would be a
little friendlier,
would be a little more kinder to me. I did forget because I never play in tournaments. I did forget to wear my team jersey on Saturday, so that could have been the reason.
That's it.
Yeah,
but I did remember for Sunday.
First day, in case you do terrible the first day, and then you don't have to wear it the second day, and everybody knows
did the
opposite. Terrible, and you make the team look bad.
Well, I did the opposite.
I know, you made the team look bad. I know. It's fine.
No, I made the team look good at the end of the day. So day 2, I played Michael, who also runs events at one of the other local stores in the area, and he had salamanders.
Salamander army.
Yeah,
it was amazing. If you go look at the Gameology Pasadena Facebook page and you look for there's pictures from the event, it's an awesome looking salamander army. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
Really nice kid, and I say kid because he's like 20.
Way to talk down.
So he is a kid.
Way to be ageist.
Oh, he's a kid.
He's a baby.
He's the
damn, guys. Straight up hateful over here. These young people listening to this show are like, what are these old people talking about?
No young people listen to our show.
Only young people.
The youths love us.
We're the old people that would be judging you at LVO. That's who we are.
You better be listening. If you're not listening, you're screwed. I'll walk up to your table. I don't even know who you are, 18-year-old. Can you even be here legally?
So I forget what mission it was. It was the hold. I think it was like a hold 2 or hold 1, whatever. But he had put all his stuff with the Redemptors and the Ancients and the Aggressors all on his right, my left flank, and with my because I took the Warlord trait, Master Misinformant or whatever, which is basically the redeploy Warlord trait. And I basically redeployed everything except for one squad to my right, his left. So most of the stuff couldn't kill my stuff. And we kind of like switched sides. We almost played Hammer and Anvil, basically. And I ended up holding more almost on every turn, while at the same time feeding him units or getting to him in a way that I would deny him having more objectives than me.
Nice.
So, and he had one librarian, so of course I took Furia Magnus because that's what you take if someone has a librarian.
Right.
And so that one we didn't really trade too many units. He killed maybe 1 or 2 units, and that was basically it. And so that game ended up 97-69 for me.
So now you're
and it was a fun game though. 2-2. Scared to see who else was going to play round 3. Who else was? Because there were a lot of good players at 2-2. But I ended up getting paired with Ken Krogman. And it's funny because we were talking and we said like the last time we actually played each other was maybe 15 years ago.
So, was Ken the Black Templar player that was there?
Huh?
Ken's the Black
Templar. Ken was the
Yeah. That's such a cool army too.
Yeah.
You guys
He's really good painter. Yeah, a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Really, he just plays the game because he loves playing the game. He just likes playing in tournaments because it gives him games to play. He's a good friend of Steve Masuda, who's on our team.
Ken is I've known him for a long fun to play against. If you ever get paired against him, it's going to be a super fun game. The guy is awesome. Yeah. He's nice. Yeah, everything you could want in a 40K opponent at a tournament.
And he's a Black Templar player through and through.
Oh yeah,
like I've never known him to play other armies. He just, no matter how good or bad the book is, he plays Black Templars.
Yep. And
so
they're
played
beautifully painted too. He had that squad of Terminators that were really well done with all the little bits and stuff from 4th edition when they had the 4th edition set where the Terminator shoulder pads for the Templars were out. Yeah, they're great. It's an amazing army because it's got the longevity.
So he had the Terminators. He had the Ancients or the Blade Guard. He had 1 Venerable Dread, 2 Dreads with Plasma.
The Redemptors.
No. They weren't. He had 1 Redemptor with the Plasma, but he had 2 Dreadnoughts with Plasma and missile launcher. And then he had 1 Volkite Contemptor. He had a lot of Dreads.
I mean, I feel like Dreads are a fluffy thing for Templar, like for sure, because they have such large crusades, right? There's such a big chapter. They're definitely going to have dudes that die and get interned. And then if you ever read the graphic novel is all about, it goes, the guy's like an initiate, and then he becomes one of the other guys, and then eventually he becomes a dreadnought. And then it ends with him as a dreadnought fighting, I think it's Tau. And he pwned some Tau because, yes. And I always feel like that's kind of been kind of fluffy for the Templars because there's so many of them. It makes sense they'd have a bunch of like dreadnoughts,
Yeah, because each crusade is self-sufficient, basically. Mm-hmm. Each crusade fleet, so you gotta keep those guys fighting.
And the Inquisition knocking on the door. Hey, how many there are you? How many there are you?
Not enough.
None of your business.
Yeah, right. None of your business.
Yeah. It's like, I got that number for you. It's none of your goddamn business.
I like Tom's answer. Not enough. Because Gilliman's probably like, yeah, that's definitely not enough. It's way more than everybody else has got, and still we need more.
So we played the mission where each it's six objectives. I believe it's hold 2, and then hold 2, hold 3, hold more, basically. He kind of spread his army across like the whole front because it's kind of like Dawn of War deployment, and he had his dreadnoughts kind of sprinkled, like some in the middle, some in the each side. More importantly, he had the Redemptor on my left side, and I knew I didn't want the Redemptor to stay alive because that thing doesn't care about my fucking all is dust bullshit or 5+ invulnerable save.
Nope. Couldn't care less.
And in that game, I actually went first.
Oh.
Wow.
So no, he went first. He went first in that one, actually. No, he went first in that one because I remember him pushing up with the Terminators.
Games?
I went second in. I think with Michael's game, I went first.
I've actually found
Michael's game. I went first because I had to kill. It was really tough to kill something with psychic. The way he scrunched up his army into one little ball in one corner.
Mm-hmm. I actually found via ITC Battles app and my own observations that I like to go second. Mm-hmm. I apparently win way more of my games when I go second than first. Yeah,
in our game, I think I went second. No, I went first.
You went first, yeah. I think. I think it's 80% of the games now that I have in ITC Battles. It was 60 before, and now it's 80% of games with Imperial Knights. If I go second, I win.
The way I design my armies, it's that line from Talladega Nights where it's like, "You ain't first, you're last."
We know your games are all high, or your armies are all high octane, pedal to the metal. I'm gonna either win this game huge or I'm gonna get 0 points.
We gonna die in hell today, boys.
So he went first. I had hid basically everything. We were playing on the Necron table, so basically I just hid behind everything.
Yeah.
And then on my turn, I just threw the flamers and a unit of bolter guys, and then the Dreadclaw on my left, his right, to just basically kill the Redemptor, the multi-multi bike, and assault intercessors. Oh no, eradicators that were around one objective. I just assaulted all of it because I had stuff that was OPSEC and he didn't, and basically killed everything there. So that left him with just like 5 points for the turn, and then he went that direction with the Blade Guard to kind of take it back, which is kind of what I wanted. I was hoping he'd send the Terminators there too, but he didn't. He just kept them in the middle the whole game, which is funny. And then after that, I immediately switched to the other side and started to kill with the Terminators and another squad of bolter guys to kill as many dreadnoughts as possible. I killed the Volkite. I killed the Volkite Contemptor first, and then I killed the Venerable Dread, and then I killed one of the plasma missile launcher dreads. And then after that, I just hid, and I didn't care because I had already, by turn 4, I'd already scored my 45 for a primary, and I was just scoring everything. I actually mutated 5 out of the 6 objectives because I took mutate landscape.
5 of 6.
Yeah. I only needed 5, but I was able to mutate landscape every turn. Why Ken letting you do that? Because I don't. It doesn't matter if there's anybody around. I can be in combat and still cast mutate landscape.
I mean,
mutate landscape.
Okay. You gotta screen out those objectives so that you can't get to them.
No, well, even if he did, I just landed and then assaulted.
The only thing he could have done would have been to use the Black Templar's deny strat. That would have blocked his action.
He kept on he kept on using it to block my smites.
Yeah, but you can use it to block that. That's what he should have done.
You can, but it's either that or lose a bunch of guys.
I mean, in that case, I'd probably choose to lose a bunch of dudes on it. Well, see, it's different. I'll eat your smites. It's fine because my models are 24 wounds each. Like, okay.
Well, yeah, but do you have a strat like that?
No, but what I'm saying is I'm thinking from my perspective of whatever eat the smites. But that's not true for his army, really. So, like, me saying that is not... I'm not fully thinking through. But even then, still, I think... I really think you have to just deny you getting secondary points, right?
Well, and also because Black Templars have a 5-up feel no pain against mortal wounds.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't helping him.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, and he should borrow my dice the next time he plays you. Because I make 5-up saves like a god, apparently.
That's only mortal wound saves.
No, I was doing it against everything
actually
in
matter.
that game. I was making 5-up invul saves like a mother, too.
So that game, I basically dictated anything that happened. With the ability to just jump wherever I need to is
seems good.
I can't see myself using anything other than time.
I don't know. Well, how you guys do Ken like that? Boo this man. Everybody loves Ken. Why you gotta be like that?
So Ken and I agreed to next time try to play again in less than 15 years.
Nice. Just do a grudge match next time. Whatever. Ken can show up. You guys can play a grudge match. It'd be great.
So that game ended up actually it was pretty close, 97-72.
No.
So, because Ken took Kapor the Witch and he got like 8 points because he killed like a bunch of units. He killed like what? That's 4 units. So, I was tempted at times to like the resiliency is there because his biggest complaint was that he couldn't kill the whole squad because I'd always have like one guy left,
right?
And he can't fall back. I was tempted to like troll him and like make those guys warp to someplace else so he wouldn't get the points at all.
Nah.
But I kept them in because I wanted to warp. I wanted to warp other stuff to other places. So, yeah. But it was a fun game. It's always a fun game with Ken. So
yes. So you were 3-2.
So I ended up 3-2, and I actually came in 12th place.
See, the list is good.
Wow, look at that.
I attribute it to pilot error.
Yep.
I attribute it to playing against OP lists.
I mean, that's probably true too. Yeah, to a certain extent. KR Quinn says that I should play Custodes if I make those kinds of saves, but I don't really like playing as the Golden Boys. They're not my thing.
Well,
You only need like 5 models. Look at what happened to Carlos.
Carlos had like 10 models, right, or some nonsense like that.
Yeah,
well,
because he
remember,
won with Custodes. He won the event with Custodes.
I have a whole Custodes army that I was the first army where I realized I could paint well if I tried, and I could lose hard no matter how hard I tried. So,
Custodes are a finicky finesse army.
Yeah, Carlos, who ended up winning the event, beat Admech and Orcs and Dark Eldar. I think he played Dark Eldar too. Can't remember. I have to look. But he did. I know he beat the Admech player. They beat me, and then he beat Logan Heath, who was the SoCal Open winner. And this is with pre-nerfed Orcs and Admech. So it was a fun event. I had a lot of fun being able to play. I'm not going to say not judging because people were still asking me questions.
Yep. For sure. You can't be an LVO judge someplace and have people not ask you rules questions.
Unless you're me, most people forget.
It was happening to me at SoCal Open all the time. Hey, man, can you answer this question? Nope. Sure can't. I'm not a judge of this event, guys. I'm literally playing a game right now.
You should have just said, I can, but I won't.
No, that's too much of a dick. Even for me.
I don't think I've ever heard you say those words, and
I have limits, Tom.
I don't want to hear you say that.
I don't believe that.
Man.
Also, you may have limits, but Tequila John does not have limits.
Good thing there wasn't any Tequila John at SoCal Open.
Yeah, so the weekend was fun. 3-2, much better than I thought I would go, to be honest. Change to the list.
You're supposed to go 5-0 and win.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
You're supposed to have a double crown episode where I could win the league and you could win the tournament where you have double crowns. You ruined it.
If I rolled like a god, then maybe.
I was going to have a crown. I was going to give you a tiara. I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad I didn't win.
I totally thought I was going to give you a pink ass tiara.
So for the league, I think I'm gonna try like I talked about playing 20 Terminators, but I tried against Danny. Mm-hmm. The list I took with Danny was 20 Terminators, 2 5-man rubrics, and the 10-man Flamer Squad, which is always going to be in every list that I take. The 2 Exalted still. I took 2 Rapiers with the Laser Destroyer option.
Excuse you.
Mainly because I play against Knights a lot.
Hey, I feel targeted by this. I need my comfort object, and I need you to be canceled on Twitter immediately.
They're only 3 shots at, but they're D3 plus 3 or D6 plus 3?
D3 plus 3.
D3 plus strength 10. So
KR Quinn's asking Adam, 1,000 Suns, hard to keep track of stuff as guest, like you really need to be dialed into it to play it.
That depends. So the list I took literally only has like 3 powers for the guys. 4 out of the 5 rubric squads all had Temporal Surge or Warp Time. The 5th squad the Flamer squad had Pyrrhic Flux. The Terminator squad had has Glamour of Zinch, which is the -1 to hit. Pyrrhic Flux gives you +1 strength to flame weapons. And then the Exalted, both of them had Firestorm of Zinch. The one on foot had Doombolt, and the one on disc had Baleful De-Evolution, which is I roll the same amount of dice as I do for casting. So if I roll a 9 to cast, then I roll 9 dice. If I roll a 10, I roll 10 dice.
But besides Danny that, you also have to keep.
Yeah, that power sucks.
You also have to keep track of your occult points or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah, but the cabal points are every turn.
Carrie Quinn says too much shit already.
Yeah,
it's actually not. It's really only like 5 powers.
It's what it is, Carrie Quinn. So like when I played the Free Blade list, and Adam has this too. I was noticing this when I played the Free Blade Army of Renown. I literally got those little blank cards, and I took a Sharpie and I wrote on the blank plastic cards everything for each one of the little Free Blade knights. And then Adam did the same thing for all of his little dudes. So he has these little cards. It tells you exactly what the little guys got, and a little reminder so that you can keep track of it that way. So I think that's actually pretty helpful. If you're just organized with it, if you have a little cheat sheet, little tokens, whatever your brain works with, I think it's manageable for most players. But it is a different style army than just like point and click Space Marine type stuff, right? Like, this army does this thing. So I know this. Yeah, Tom's feeling attacked right now, I think. But like to a certain extent, or like a House Raven night list is point and click, right? Like House Raven is everybody can advance and shoot. So okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm just gonna do that. And then I have one strat that I like to use. Like it's super easy. There's not a lot to keep track of. But if you play these psychic heavy lists, Death Guard's another one that seems like it's got a lot of keeping track of.
There's a lot going on with Death Guard.
Especially because you got like the Tally Man and like there's a bunch of stuff to keep track of. Are NIDs kind of like that too?
We can be. There's a bunch
of
buffs.
Did I catalyst this guy, right? And like
synaptic link and which synaptic link and then what stratagems, because there's generally a stratagem for every fucking phase, right? Like, so yeah, it's I use tokens for all of that for the most part.
Yeah, I think that if you're used to playing an army that requires a lot of bookkeeping, it's okay. But like eventually you've got to write stuff down in a system that makes sense for you. Tokens, cards, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad because like I said, in other iterations of the army, I always felt like I needed to give like each squad some different power. But in the end, like was suggested in the list by someone else or the person who I took the list from, he just gave them all the same power. And to be honest, that was easier. You didn't use the power. You used smite most of the time, or some version of it. So I just used smite.
Mm-hmm.
The Cabal points were actually pretty easy to keep track of because there's only 2 or 3 that you use the most, and I know their values basically by heart now.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't too bad. The new list again is just the two 10-man squads, so 20 Terminators, 2 5-mans, the Flamers, the Exalted, and 2 squads of Cultists, and the Rapiers for the anti-tank or anti-big bug or whatever.
Cool.
Because you have to target the gun, and after you kill the gun, the guys are free to do like whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The only problem is they don't get all his dust and they don't get the special bolters. But who cares? They can just get on an objective.
Yeah,
they can perform an action now because
they can hide, perform an action, not die, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we go into the next item, which is the data sheet, because several people asked about it in the chat. I'm gonna go back to this scene. Tom, what are you building, and Danny, what are you painting?
Oh.
I am building a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Nice. Is this number 6?
This is number 3. Okay. So I will have completed the 3 Redemptors. I will never have to buy another.
You will have the Triumvirate.
I will have the Triumvirate. Where the hell did I put that purity seal?
Oh.
And Danny, for those that can't see, Danny's building the giant Tyranid flyer, the Harridan.
Harridan.
He's painting it, not building it.
Yeah.
He's painting it.
There was a Harridan at the event.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, It was very nice. That was the Squad Marks guy playing that, right?
That was Mason. Yeah, that's Mason, the guy that played everybody except me at SoCal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mason's a good dude. Squad Marks is a great product, and his Harridan was beautiful.
Yeah, I actually need to get some Squad Marks because I am not painting. I mean, I still have some bugs left to paint, but I am not painting. I'm not painting bugs different colors to have the different attachments, so I need the Squad Marks.
Kara Quinn, I think he already has 18 Hive Guard painted. Like Danny's got everything for NIDS at this point. I wouldn't be surprised.
I do have one more unit of Hive Guard,
and he's not going to use it because he's like, whatever.
I actually don't like that list. I know Manny Chima did well with it, but I don't know who his matchups were because there's plenty of lists that anything with a fast assault element just destroys that. Because they can't fall back and shoot.
You don't like to win, is what I'm hearing.
You got to screen. Well, if you could screen it out properly, right, Danny? Or no?
But with 18, you're already spending a ton of points, so it's hard to have a proper screen. Not to mention, if you go against armies with lots of -1 damage, LOL, those Hive Guard really suffer. Because it's okay, we're damage D3, and -1 damage is so I'm damage 1 67% of the time, and damage 2 33% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's not
I pulled that on Danny. He barely killed a squad of 5.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
The things that are D3 or D6 really bug me in the game. I really want
kind of slow. They're kind of getting rid of them.
Like even like so, let's say you get D6 shots for something or D3 shots for something. Just get rid of that. Just give me 2, or if it's D6, just give me 4, 3, whatever. Give me a set number, because the random.
I like some variants.
Bothers me a lot when you get those other rules that interact with like, well, you're -1 damage. Okay, cool. So it's D3 damage. So like you're saying, 66% of the time, I'm only doing 1 damage.
Yep.
Like it kind of makes that rule just all of a sudden like it feels bad. Why do I even have D3 damage? Because I don't ever get D3 damage against like there's 4 or 5 armies in the game that do that. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's quite a few armies at this point that have access to good units with -1 damage.
Right.
So it's like, okay, man, he didn't play against Death Guard. He didn't play against Thousand Suns. He didn't play against anyone who's taking a lot of contemptors or redemptors or things like that. Right. So it's like, cool. I'm glad he won. You know, I always love seeing the Tyranids do well, but I just think 18 is, you know, what, 900 and that's 910 points of your army. That is good, but has severe weaknesses, and it's really hard to compensate for those weaknesses with the other points, right? So I definitely, especially with Leviathan now, I can see running 12. I used to only ever run 6 because like point efficiency, it's like, well, only one of them gets to double shoot, so why am I paying double their cost for basically one more activation, right? I could get something else. So I can see with Leviathan being able to run 2, because you can still have one Chronos patrol that's got that rerolls 1s to hit and get Symbio Storm for exploding 6s, and then you have Leviathan who can with the CP get to explode on 6s, and you can Swarm Leader them for reroll hits, right? So like that's all good efficiency, and then one of them gets to shoot again, right? Like that's pretty efficient and pretty good for the 600 points or so with whatever else you're playing. But I still think you need screens, or you need melee. You need forward pressure. You need melee threat. So, like I said, I didn't have a chance to look at like what Manny's path to victory was, who he played, and what lists he played. But I feel like there's a lot of lists out there that would just kind of eat that list pretty quickly.
I'm looking right now. He played against two Craft World lists.
Okay.
One Dark Eldar. One.
So everything that they're good at.
One Dark Eldar, one Freebooter, one Admech.
Admech can be tough.
That's already like 5 out of 8 for his opponents.
I mean, the Admech can be tough, and the Freebooters can be tough depending on who goes first.
But not Craft.
I think he went first against the Freebooters.
Yeah, I mean Craft World and DE. It's like Hive Guard are the only thing, the primary thing Tyranids have that are good against DE, because they don't have any way to negate D3 damage, right, to lessen it, and like you can't hide from them, right? You can't hide out of sight, line of sight, so you can just pop the transport, shoot again, pop the guys inside, and it's like, okay, that problem solved.
He went against 5 Grandmaster Grey Knights, or
that list can do that, like because they're not -1 damage, or one of them can be, but he has enough shots he can switch. But even then, that can be dicey, because if he makes enough 4-up invols,
if you can put 2 of them down turn 1, you're good.
Yeah.
That puts the Grand Knight player on the back foot.
That was like his round 4.
So balanced data sheet. I am a big fan.
Yeah, it's very actually impressive that they decided to go this route.
Well, so I wanted to ask John really quick, because I remember last episode we talked about, or you talked about, John, about needing to lift up.
Yeah.
In addition to bring down armies. So I'm assuming this is what you were talking about.
Yeah, like this is exactly
something like this.
What I meant, something along these lines, where like you have to, instead of just calling for the consistent nerf, you need to be calling for a lifting up of the other armies. Like the ones that are the worst should be brought up in some way. Like, yeah, do what they did with Necrons, do what they did with Imperial Knights, do what they did with Chaos Knights. Bring up those armies that are struggling by giving them something, and then you can adjust the top ones also. So if you're bringing the most broken things down slightly and the worst things up slightly, you are balancing the game more, right? But it shouldn't just always be this thing's broken, please nerf it into the floor. Like, that's just not how it works. I really would have liked to have seen secondaries for everybody.
Yeah.
Like at least one secondary for every single faction would be nice. I get that's hard to do. I get that's probably something that has to be done totally differently. But it would be nice to see that at some point.
That's going to be done in like a paper publication, I would bet. Like they wouldn't do that digitally, right? Like because it's a mission secondary.
I mean, they could.
I mean, they did all these changes. They can just add.
But have they ever changed mission loadout digitally?
No, not that I'm aware of.
That's the thing, right? And that's a mission loadout. That's my point, right?
The other thing too is that unless the mission is like by just existing this turn, you get 3 points. Like adding missions to the balance sheet doesn't necessarily help them. It can,
but if you add a secondary, and I get what you're saying, Tom, and I totally agree. But if you add a secondary that's like, if you can do this 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things that your army's good at already, get a point. Like, or get 2 points, right? So, like, you could, though, but I do understand what you're saying. Like, unless it's very generic, it'd be hard to add to a data slate. Because then all of a sudden your data slate's like, what, 4 or 5 pages long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I just think
like, it's just too much?
Yeah, I think it's that, and it's also like too where it's something that, you know, I mean, out of every book that's come out, I feel like you're hoping for at least one good secondary. Space Marines have generally just the one. Black Templar don't have any. I don't know what any of the new supplements are going to have. I don't know if the White Scars ones are good at all. Dark Eldar generally only use the one. It feels like everybody usually picks one, maybe 2, but never like all 3 of their secondaries.
Well, you can only pick one.
I thought there was.
You only pick one from the book. So like Dark Angels can pick the one from their book and the one from the Space Marine book.
Yeah, well, Tom. That's why you think you can get 2 because you play Space Marines.
I get
well, I think it means that, like, in terms of what people actually take, right? Like, you really only consistently see one faction-specific secondary taken among anybody, not like,
right.
You know.
And it's the idea that it's generally a consensus of what
this
do
is
you
the best
take.
one.
What
What do you build for?
Like,
no, I mean, I think
part ones are well.
Well, I mean, I think to John's point, I mean, I think having faction-specific secondaries that are built to reward what that faction is inherently good at is important, because how many times, I don't know, I've lost plenty of games in this edition where it's like, man, if I had just had a better third secondary, I probably would have won. Not one where I'm like, fuck, man, I'm gonna get 6 points on this, but like, cool, I'm gonna get like 10.
That's
like,
me.
Hey,
that's me playing Knights.
Yeah,
a lot
like,
of games.
awesome.
If I just had one third one that was good.
And then, you know, also to John's point, like, I love that they're like, they're relatively easy fixes. Like, hey, Necron, here's a bunch of, it's like, you're a very synergy-based army. Here, let's make a bunch more things in your army core so you can actually make them useful.
Yep.
Right? Like, nice, easy fix. Hey, Knights and Chaos Knights, what do you really suffer from? You can't play the objective game. Here, have some OBSEC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's, I think, important. It's just like identifying, not just, I think some things need to be toned down. I think like the freebooters Air Force list is just mathematically too good for the game. It just puts out so many shots, right? And at a reasonable BS that is just impossible to say like that's a fair game against, who basically goes first, it wins against almost anything. But that's something you got to take out. But that's an extreme case. Like I'm glad, like it's cool that AdMech and DE are getting some points adjustments, but I don't think it's, I think it's more critical to like bring up some of the weaker armies because they will oftentimes help produce a counter build to other more dominant builds that helps make the meta fresh, because it's like, yes, this is a good build. Like here's DE build, but oh shit, Necron out of nowhere from the top rope, right? Just comes out of nowhere because it's like, oh hey, it turns out we're a really good counter to this.
There's a couple of really interesting destroyer based lists now that are possible with core, because now all of a sudden they actually have synergy with these other units and they get a buff, and you're like, wow, okay, so this opens up a lot of play in this army. The only thing I wanted from AdMech that I didn't get was I really wanted them to reduce the number of Skitarii you can take in a squad.
Yeah, the 20 is a little ridiculous.
20 is pretty egregious in my opinion. But maybe with points increases it won't be as bad. I don't know.
Can you take 20 guards?
I mean, it remains to be seen.
squad?
We've only had the data slates 1 week. Most events didn't use them, right?
I think so. I think you can.
What?
20
I
guards.
was just asking, can you take 20 guardmen in a single unit?
You can, I think.
Conscripts.
Conscripts, not regular guardsmen, though.
I thought
No.
conscripts
Yeah, see,
were
that's
default
weird.
20.
Nope. See, that's
Well,
weird.
hey, maybe that'll change. Who knows?
But there's a strat where you can combine guard squads.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Meh.
But speaking of guard, they get a nice bonus to, help make them a little more.
Hey,
Yeah,
Dusted off my Lehman Russes.
The new Lehman Russes went up and save, and then the orders are much better.
Yeah,
Buy.
Mana core stock is up.
Yeah, right. You can order a mana core now.
Increased stonks.
Yeah. I would
pretty
like
funny.
you to fire all the missiles.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's incredibly healthy for the game. I like that actually it's a quarterly update as opposed to like a monthly, because I feel like that would just be very rushed and we wouldn't really get.
It would also
Good.
be too imbalancing. There's too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
and I'd love to see it where it's like, hey, this quarter was pretty significant in the changes that happened, but next quarter, we don't really see what's happening with these things. So here's some just minor tweaks. Nothing
Right.
big. Like, they should get to a
2 wound
a
chaos
state of
Marines.
nah, that would make Adam happy.
Pipe dream.
Yeah. Everybody was excited about the Death to the False Emperor, or whatever they want to call it now. But I'm like,
Man, my SoCal games would be so different if I had that. Oh my
yeah, I
gosh.
guess, but that same amount of space, they could have just given us everybody 2 wounds. It's not that hard.
Stop being so salty over there. That's my job.
¿Por qué no nos dos?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I think the argument there though is that if they were gonna do, because when you start messing that much with the models like characteristics, I feel like that's when it's like they have some metric for here's how much a wound costs point wise per something. Like I'm assuming that they have that level of intelligibility behind their stat making, so at the point where they
You
couldn't
assume-
just
you
say
assume too much.
I probably do. But in a normal world, it would be reasonable for them to be like, oh, well, we can't give them 2 wounds, but here's some other things that don't change the value of a model, but make the army as a whole better.
I guess.
No.
Unless they felt it was already reasonably costed, like a Lehman Russ.
Yeah, because they gave you Lehman Russ a better save, but didn't change the points.
Yeah, that's kind of a big. I mean, that's messing with the characteristic. It's
Unless-
changing the number.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true. It could also be one of those things where, I don't know. I'm making justifications for a company that doesn't care about me.
No
Be
company
careful.
cares about you, just like politicians. Embrace the nihilism.
Embrace the nihilism.
No one cares,
And that's okay.
and that's freedom.
And that's free.
God. But I think in general, everybody would probably be happy with it, except for orc players who bought a shit ton of planes and buggies.
Man, that was a lot of salt and a lot of armies for sale. I almost bought one, but
I
that guy
got
was asking
the
too much.
world's smallest violin over here for you guys.
I mean, I said this in other places, but nerfing the hell out of one really abusive build to the benefit of literally dozens of other builds is a net good for the game and the community and everything else. It sucks when you're at the bottom end of that, but then don't be a meta chasing dude, right? Like, unless you were really like,
I mean,
unless you already had all those models because you were doing a Speedwog army 2 years ago. When like the jump shock booster dragger, whatever the fuck came out, right?
Those things were no good and nobody wanted them.
like then don't complain. But if you've got like a brand new, I just happen to have all of these.
I mean, like you said that other places. I said also other places. If you are out there buying these super oppressive, obviously overpowered things, no sympathy. You get what you deserve.
Mm-hmm. It's like
You should know at this point, which is somebody in the chat's making that point. Like you should know at this point to not do that because it's going to get nerfed. So don't waste your money.
It's like
Don't buy an army till the FAQ.
Oh, did the
Or the
playtester
quarterly
who knew
update.
the super advanced rules and that got burned by letter FAQs they weren't privy to get hurt? Oh no! Like,
Don't meta chase.
No, I mean that's what it comes down to.
Well,
Is don't
you
meta
can.
chase. Like you just have to accept.
Well,
that this
if
is
you're
going to
meta
happen to
chase,
you.
don't cry about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
You have to accept this as part of meta chasing. If like my army will get in, if it's actually too good, will get invalidated or changed by a nerf.
Yeah.
And I've just you roll with that. And I know it sucks, but like,
just got to know when to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Or do what I do and paint everything Alpha Legion colors. So if you're meta chasing, you already have the fucking models anyway.
Dude, Alpha Orcs.
Well, I mean, that's a little too far, but that's a great idea.
Oh my god.
I mean, here's the thing of like, how can you tell a real orc player? How converted is their shit?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you see an Arachnarok that's suddenly a battle wagon or like, you know, something else and it's got like a jet booster strapped to it and wings and it's like on a really beautiful flying base. And I'm like,
all my orc kits straight out of the box.
Yeah. That's an orc.
Built as instructions say. Okay, Med Chaser.
Painted to base 3-color standard.
Yeah. Kill Rig Stonks went flying high though.
They did.
Hey, wait! I can deep strike one of these things.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yes, please don't.
There were some kill rigs at the tournament. At least one army that I knew had them.
Right. Questions?
I don't think there weren't any questions in the Facebook.
John had a question.
Patreons.
John Boy.
Our John?
Brother John.
Know who's driving with him to LVO?
Well, I am because he's driving.
Not me, sadly. I'm going to fly this year, I think, just so I can leave later and get home faster. Since it'll be my first LVO with leaving my wife to 2 children.
Yikes. That's true. That's right. The first one with 2.
Yeah, because what would have been the first one with 2 was canceled due to pandemic. So I don't want to be gone extra like 18 hours because I drove with my friends.
KR Quinn says he asked a question about terrain look again, but I don't remember the question about terrain.
Look forward to right now. He said, looking forward to LVO. Is player price terrain going to be in effect? If so, what do you think the rules on big bases or models can move? I know you can put in a 6-inch wide part on models and terrain placement, but any updates?
I'm pretty sure there's been no official, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do player optimized terrain. Right. That's going to be a thing. Placement. Yeah. We're not going to
being used everywhere else, everywhere I go, which is a lot of places.
I don't think we're going to use the Pasadena thing of lots of dents everywhere, but maybe we'll probably, I mean, there will be stuff with dents on it for sure.
I think that whatever gets used in New Orleans is probably going to be it at this point, right? Or it's going to be
close. I think New Orleans is the final. It's pretty much the final testing.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like large base models, there should always be between things a large base model could, unless they fly, couldn't actually physically move through. There should be always a minimum 6-inch gap, right, between ruins and things like that. So like the smaller splash pieces of terrain, you can move over them. Right, like you might have to lose distance to physically climb over them or things like that, but they're not impassable. And so if those are, can be placed within 4 inches of something else, so there are smaller gaps, but you should always be able. If your base or model is less than 6 inches wide, you should be able to traverse the board. Not necessarily anywhere you want, but you can go places.
The only thing I think that would potentially get screwed by that 4-inch ruins to like little piece of splash terrain would probably be like Bane Blades, because like knights can at least walk over those smaller pieces, generally speaking, or can justify that. But Bane Blades are just like my treads.
But your Bane Blade also, you get to place the terrain on your side, and like your Bane Blade is probably not should be rushing across the board at your opponent.
Yeah, melee Bane Blades, baby, let's go.
I've got it. I was gonna say I've got it on good authority. They're gonna do Assault Bane Blades. It's called a Blade.
Blade. And you have to model the dude in the cupola with the sword to drive me closer so I can hit it with my sword, dude.
Yeah.
It actually.
Oh my god, how amazing would it be if they came out with just like an upgrade of like that dude, but with like an axe, and they just had the fluff of like, oh, this is a relic axe that contains a shard of the bone of the Emperor itself. Strength 10, AP -4, damaged, D6 +3, right? Like,
drive me closer so I can literally hit it with my Emperor.
Instead of the turret coming out, it's literally just a long ass power sword that your attacks are just when it goes whoom, whoom, whoom.
Drive me closer. I shall assault you with my Emperor.
It's technically a 4-inch flamer because they can swing at you that far.
God, if any of the modelers for GW ever listen to this show, please make that happen. I'll buy 3.
Yeah, they'll make it with a dude riding a turtle or something.
No. Just an upgrade kit for the Bane Blade that you just place in the cupola, and like Have him be like 100
It'll
points.
be like a snapping turtle's head or something.
All weapons are flamers.
Look, I hate that goddamn
Or
army.
sword.
Okay,
You hate
the army that can bring water
I hate
on
that
its own.
stupid army.
You know what's funny?
Where they have stupid mermaids on land and turtles. It's dumb.
Okay, first off, number one, how dare you? Because the Leviathan is an amazing, amazing model. Flying Turtle is dope as shit. And if I ever just decided to randomly get another AOS army, it'd definitely just be like, how many of these turtles and sharks can I run? Because sea creatures are fucking cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, John. Question for you. First, as a teacher, why is it you hate learning? And then, secondly, I thought you were the man who claimed to know nothing about AOS. Appears that you are on.
No, he's just so infuriated every time he sees that model.
I am infuriated by the deepkin, whatever. Hey, I knew the quote the guy in the chat was talking about was Hemingway. Well, supposedly Hemingway. You did not.
Oh, allegedly.
I didn't read the chat, so therefore your argument is right.
I can't see the chat, so.
Undiscovered Land says baby shoes for sale never worn.
Yes, that's Hemingway.
No, well, it's supposedly
Allegedly,
Hemingway.
right, yeah.
Allegedly Hemingway.
It's his response to like write the saddest story you can. And
yes. What's that called? Flash fiction, right?
Yeah.
Or
it was meant to. It was meant to be. I mean, because that was always this thing of like he wrote very lean, concise prose, and the style of the time was very kind of flowery.
I don't know. I read For Whom the Bell Tolls. There's nothing concise about that.
Yeah, but he had with beef. What is it? I think it was with Fitzgerald. But like Fitzgerald made a comment about him of like basically like I pity the man who lacks the understanding of like the beauty inherent to language and the play in language. And Hemingway's reply is like, and I pity a man who needs that many words to sound smart.
Which is funny because I don't like Fitzgerald very much.
I like Fitzgerald fine. I guess.
I was not a fan of oh god, what's it called? Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby. Yeah. Great Gatsby is.
I liked.
I like
Gatsby. I like Great Gatsby from a very literature geek level,
sure.
Which is that the actual the rhythm of the language itself, of like the syllable count to line by line, the sentence count paragraph to paragraph directly mimics jazz in the 1920s. Mm-hmm. Like it's the same kind of beat count.
Yeah.
And like that's pretty impressive, right? To like be actually able to capture, and he does it very specifically during the party scenes and things like that. So like the writer and literature professor in me is like, okay, that's dope. Like to just construct that in your actual language, but like the story and stuff like that, it's like, okay, cool, right?
Yeah.
Like
it drags a little. Oh, yeah. Airborne, no. I'm not saying I don't like For Whom the Bell Tolls. I'm just saying it's not concise.
Well,
and he prefers the Metallica version anyway.
I was gonna ding it.
Okay, the Metallica version is not. That's not actually. I don't really like that Metallica song. So that is a For Whom the Bell Tolls I don't really like. I'm not a big fan of For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Metallica song.
I like that riff quite a bit. I mean, the lyrics are not that great, but the riff.
You're just out to make friends tonight, aren't you?
Just getting fighting words everywhere.
Yeah.
Look, I love Metallica. That's just not my favorite.
James Hetfield catching strays out here, man. Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
No, James Hetfield deserved the strays after Napster.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey guys,
that
was Lars Ulrich anyway. Yeah.
James Hetfield was off being drunk on vodka, killing bears in Russia. I didn't even know what was going on. He was missing all his kids' birthdays and shit.
Yeah. Putin's like with him. He's like, do you think I should stay president? Yeah, man, you're fucking awesome. You should be president for life.
Here, eat some of this bear and drink some of this vodka.
And he's like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah. No, I did like For Whom the Bell Tolls. I did. It was great. Great Gatsby, it's okay. I mean, I don't regret reading it. I regret reading Catcher in the Rye. Fuck that book.
Oh, yeah, that book is fucking dumb.
Oh, really?
Holding Coffin.
Yes.
POS.
Bitch.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm so whiny. Oh, look at me. I'm angsty.
Yeah, right? Like, seriously. What the heck with this kid?
Yeah.
Like, that kid just needs... Holding Caulfield needs a good smack.
He does. If ever there was a dude who just needed a punch in the fucking jaw, right? Yeah. Like...
Sometimes that's what you need to get yourself right.
Yep.
And Holding Caulfield is Exhibit A.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hated that book so much. And I was like, when I read it too, I'm like the prime audience of like, a 16-year-old male.
Yeah.
Like that's who that book is for. And it's just like, I was like, nah, dog. this shit doesn't slap. I don't know.
That's the John Lennon kill book, right?
The what?
Is that the one that he said like inspired him to kill?
He read and
Oh,
then
I
he
think you're
immediately was
right.
like, "Must kill John Lennon."
Oh,
Like the way
that
the Simpsons do it.
rings familiar.
I think that's him.
Why do
And on
crazy
that
people do
note-
crazy shit?
Are you going to stop our literary corner?
No, we
Yes.
have to have one every
Curmudgeon-y old
so-
man.
I was
in the
It's
upper
the
right-hand
wrong
corner.
literary.
I was
And it's
literally
the
about
wrong
to bring
show.
up Herman. I was about to bring up Herman Melville, dude. I mean, come on.
Oh my god, I couldn't get through it.
No, I'm
Really?
not a fan of Moby Dick either. Like, it's fine.
Oh no, Moby Dick is metal as hell, man. I'm
I
gonna go
could
drinking
not
on this
get-
boat for 6 months and fucking fight a whale.
I mean, I get it,
And
but like
that-
also,
and there are some incredible, beautiful sequences. Just like
There's-
it's like shocking.
The
There's some
language was
beautiful
just
There's some
no,
beautiful lines in there, man.
it was okay.
nope.
I mean, it's definitely a book that only needed to be like 250. You know,
Yes.
Oh, fair enough.
Yes,
Well,
for sure.
and it's-
definitely
and it's
needed an
better-
editor, but
And it's better than Billy Budd. I'm sorry. I
oh god,
never
Billy
got-
Budd is such a freaking annoying book.
I haven't read
too.
that one.
Yeah, I
Wow.
Billy Budd was like a big who the fuck cares? Like,
Anyway.
if I want to read about Lost Innocence, I'll just go out in the street. Like,
I finished Messiah, Dune
Oh, yeah?
Messiah, and that was pretty
Oh, yeah.
good. But I didn't like it as much as the first. I also somehow missed a major plot point. Somehow I talked over with Danny and Adam in a side chat, and I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, "Okay, how did I miss this thing?" And Danny's like, "Oh, it was this," and I was like, "Oh, all right, well."
It's not totally clear. I mean, part of it too is like, I don't know. I obviously love the Dune universe and everything it's done, but the first book is by far the best book because the more it gets
Yeah.
into the universe scale shit, the more it loses its track.
Yeah, and in the first chapter of Messiah or two, I'm like, okay, the scope's gotten really big.
Yeah.
I like
and
this
again,
a lot
like,
better when it was
it's a
literally
little too
like
big.
House Atreides travels to Dune. And
Well, that's the thing
shit
of, like,
happens.
Frank Herbert was literally was inspired to write Dune because of the Oregon sand dunes, right? Like that he was studying for to write a research paper on. And so like when he's focused on that and like the ecology and the things he actually really knows about, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then he just started doing way too many magic mushrooms and was like, I'm going to write about fucking causality. And it's like, oof. All right. Now we're maybe a little far off the path here, bud.
yeah.
Yeah, number one was great.
Speaking
the-
of far off the past,
Ooh,
Sam
Kara
Gillan.
Quinn Warhawk was great.
Oh yeah, Warhawk.
Warhawk was
amazing.
great. Yeah, there's only
Yes,
two left
it
in
was.
Siege of Terra. But I'm really curious how it ends. Yeah, me too. I wonder how this ends. I wonder what happens to this Emperor dude and this Horus guy.
Oh, what kind of retcons are you going to put in?
I sure
I
hope
was
that
saying-
Sanguinius bro survives to the end.
he seems cool.
Warhawk was awesome.
Yeah, the
Warhawk was really
retcon will be interesting.
I'm sure there's
Okay.
one coming.
Okay, craziest retcon that they can use that still keeps the fluff intact. Horus kills Sanguinius, but doesn't actually kill him. Gives him a devastating blow. He's basically knocked out of commission. Emperor thinks he's dead, beats the shit out of Horus, then sees Sanguinius, and is like, "I could save you, but I'm the Emperor, and it would be better if you serve as a victim and martyr of all time." And
Nah.
just, like,
Wow.
That would be great. Yeah, no spoilers on Discovered Lands. We won't spoil Warhawk for you. But it's great. You should read it.
the only spoiler is that the Warhawk is in it.
And Mortarian,
On
but
that
he's on the
note-
cover, so you know that too.
Yeah.
Plus, at this point, if you've read any of the Horus Heresy novels, you know that if Warhawk's in it, Mortarian's going to
More
be
Terrans can show up.
Yeah.
All right. So what else are we supposed to do?
We'll
according
call
to
it
show
there.
notes?
Yeah, we can call it there.
Oh, shout outs.
Yep.
Our Grand Alliance.
If you are enjoying us talking about books and lore, you should definitely check out our other show, Pod Save the Imperium, where we just released an episode about Call and Gilliman, and if Gilliman was right in refusing the help of the traitor Primaris Marines.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Also, we have a Flying
Do you like-
Monkey podcast. If you like AOS, we have a Party at the All Points.
So if you want to hear about the 6 sea turtles. Man, now I know I might have spent my Christmas money on. I might just get a fucking sea turtle army. I'm gonna have to talk to Dayton and see how
That's
many
an
turtles
expensive
can I get.
troll of me.
I'll do it. I
That'll
hope
be
you
worth
can
it.
do it.
If you want to hear about the U.S. Open in Austin, I couldn't go. I was supposed to go. I couldn't go. Listen to Flying Monkey because Bam's there.
Is he playing or judging?
Bam Bam is playing.
No, he's playing.
Okay.
So if you want to hear about it after the fact, you're not going to be able to hear about it here, but you can go to our affiliated podcast and you'll be able to hear all about it.
Yep.
And if you want to hear how Jeff's experience was at the GT, because Jeff went to our local GT, then you can listen to Focus Fire with
I imagine
Jeff
they'll get
Allen,
Carlos to come on.
if they ever decide to do an episode.
You should get I bet he'll get Carlos to get on. They can talk about it.
Yeah.
Probably.
As, Carlos was the winner and is on #Wrecked with us, and good friend of the show, longtime friend of pretty much everyone here.
Longtime friend, first time listener.
Hey, that's most of our team. Let's be honest.
Our team
Hey,
of
a lot of the
50
team
people,
is
three of them
liking
listens
Pod
to
Save the
one show.
Imperium because they brought it up a couple times in the Discord.
Yeah, so give it a listen. Danny, any last words?
Play games, be nice to each other, and prepare for. Well,
Tom, any last words for probably the last year? Since we probably won't see you. Well, you're going on vacation, aren't you, or something?
When?
I don't know.
Thanksgiving.
Next week?
You tell us.
Yeah, I might not come back depending on how my Thanksgiving drive goes, but whole other situation.
It's a whole other podcast.
Here's hoping that. Oh no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to put that in the universe because I don't want that nerf to happen.
Oh my God.
Space. I don't know.
What about you showing up to the show? Here's hoping Tom does more than 6 shows next year.
Yeah, here's hoping I do more than 6 shows next year.
I like it.
John?
Gene Stealer Colt Army for sale, never used.
Wow.
How long were you sitting on that one?
I literally scrolled up while Tom was talking to find the other quote so I could make sure I got it right. So not very long. I wasn't sitting on it very long.
Oh my God. Just a quick programming note. I think we'll be on after Thanksgiving, because this is basically the Thanksgiving episode for those in the U.S.
So we have
happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
And
those
our
are not in the
usual.
U.S. Why aren't you in the U.S.? Oh wait, free healthcare. Never mind.
Yeah.
No,
if you're listening to this on podcast form, there is a song after this episode that is 15 minutes long, which is our annual Thanksgiving Day song. Our next episode will be, I believe, on the 2nd, which is in 2 weeks.
December 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like for the rest of the year, we could probably do the 2nd and then the 16th because that's after New Orleans. So I should be back for New Orleans.
And then we'll break for Thanksgiving and come back.
We'll break for Christmas.
Christmas, and then come back probably the 6th.
Yeah, we'll be back on the 6th, which is the first Thursday of the new year, when we'll announce the winners of the Tom Haiku contest.
I will absolutely be at that one.
Well,
we have to figure out what we're giving away.
Can't skip an episode all about Tom.
I know.
You're all about Tom.
You can't skip the first episode of the new year when you're trying to make more than 6 episodes.
I will vote for positive haikus.
Oh my God! I want him to actually skip the first episode of the next year just so we can make fun of it.
Well, you don't get to vote on which one you like, Tom.
I thought we all
just
voted.
like John did. John didn't get to vote on his.
I did.
I thought he did. Yeah, he did.
I absolutely voted. Some of those were hilarious.
I actually pay attention to the links you sent me. I know John voted.
I did. I absolutely voted.
That's why our show.
And I believe the next one after that will be the week before, the Thursday, the week before LVO. So if we keep this schedule, we should be okay in regards to. We shouldn't miss it too.
LVO coming up that fast?
It's like 2 months away, basically 2.5 months away.
Find my red and yellow cars and dust them off.
You need to get your speaking voice ready for your video that you always put out.
Bruh, this voice is always ready.
John, I don't believe that they're not dusted off already because I just see you scrolling through Facebook with the cards in your hand and you see a comment and you just throw the card at the monitor.
That's why my monitor's all scratched up. That's why I always throw it at this one. Top left. It's the bad one.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Once again, don't forget our sponsors, Hammerhead Games and hammerheadgames.net. and Gameology at gameologygames.com. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Adios.